Good afternoon. It's just gone 2 p.m. It's 7 minutes past 2 Eastern Time, and 2nd of November, and I'm just going to go through and recap my trade for the day. I say trade with no S on the end because it was a single trade. Technically it was 2 trades, but you'll see why I'm counting it as 1 trade. So on my screen is the MES chart. It's the 5-minute, which is the S&P index futures. It's the same chart whether you use ES or MES. I just trade MES contracts, and that's why I prefer to use them. So in my pre-market notes and my game plan, I was watching 4300 or 42.95 for a rejection, and I said this is high risk as we're very close to that area. I put also break and retest long to continue the trend high is a higher probability trade. So that's what I was watching for really. I said around the same area as 4300 is the pre-market high as well, and it's a break and retest of the pre-market high. I was also watching for a bounce at yesterday's high of day, and we gapped up overnight. And 43.12.75 was a reject area. So these are the areas I was watching for. And I got my scenarios. Basically, FOMC yesterday was positive, so we're seeing a bit of a squeeze up. If the market rallies on the open, I'm going to wait for a pullback to catch the break and retest or the pre-market high or a buy setup. I said patience. So let's just quickly go into that. So we saw the market rally on the open, as you can see from this candle, and so as tempted as it was to take the break out of the pre-market or that area, I waited. It's the break and retest, and that's what I was really waiting for. So it came back down, and it came into 42. Let's get my 42.97.25. I was obviously really, it would have been great if it got down to 42.95 because that was an area from a few days ago anyway. But when it came down, it rejected this top here. I was long right at the bottom of that candle there, and my stop was just a few ticks below that candle. I was in 2 contracts of MES, and that spread over 17 accounts it spread over 17 accounts, so I'm spreading my risk. So that's basically quite a lot of contracts overall, but because I'm doing it over 17 accounts, my risk is a lot less because I'm only risking per account rather than buying 17 or whatever it would have been. It would have been 34 contracts at the same time. So my entry was on this pivot on the pre-market. I kind of got in a little bit early. I didn't wait for confirmation because I was wanting to get the break of this area. Saw a big push in volume as well from that candle, and a little tail at the bottom, so it looked like it wanted to push up. And the next candle was a smaller candle, but the volume was still quite high. So that's my entry. My original plan was to get, my first target was the high of the day or high of the pre-market, and then I was targeting 43.12.75 because that was a level I had on the chart, and that was a rejection area. So you can see we didn't quite make it there, and I stopped out, and as it rejected the 20 moving average and was still retesting that area, I got straight back in again. So my price, instead of being up here, my price was right on the 20 moving average. That was my price there, so I got straight back in, 2 contracts again. And my stop, overall I was watching that pivot for a stop, but I was basically watching the bottom of that pivot. If I broke below that stop, I would have stopped myself out and looked for another entry later, or I was basically waiting for the bounce of 42.95. That's the area. This entire area was what I was playing, and I think my stop was a bit too tight originally. So in there, probably could have added on the break. Maybe I could have added on the pullback, which I didn't. I got my first target was there, and my next target was coming into, in fact, my next target, I wanted to catch the volume. There was a big area of level 2 volume just there, and I knew we might bounce from that area, and so we got into that, got up to my level. My first out was a break of the high there, and I really wanted to get out there, but it rejected, came back down, and I thought, you know, it's rejected my level, and my levels normally work quite well. So I got out of the second contract there, and it was a decent day. So, and that was a good move. That was the move. That was my move for the day. So a small part of this big move up. Do I have any regrets that I didn't hold on? Yeah, a little bit. I did. Look, I did the right thing. I got out. In fact, let's go back to my plan here. I put in my notes. Let's just open this up. Let's open it up so we can see a bit better. I'm not sure what's going on. Oh, he won't let me edit. But anyway, you can see my entry was based on the level 2 below as well. That is one thing I wanted to say as well. The reason I jumped straight back in, and that's why I take the screenshot, just to remind me. Down here was a very high area of level 2, and it was looking very, very like it wanted to bounce from that. It was looking a bit like that on the book map. As you can see, I'll bring that in here, and you can't really see very clearly, but down, this is the level 2 I was watching, this area here. And so, and that was the area 4303. We had a bit of level 2 as well, 4303, which is that area there. So that's that little pullback we can see. And so that's the reason I got straight back in, because I was confident that we weren't going to easily break through that area of buyers. You know, they're buyers sitting there waiting to go long on limit orders. So, and that was the reason. I didn't just get in because I got stopped out, but I was watching level 2 as well. Let's put that back to yellow. So my entry was as low down as I could get it, because that's what I was watching. That's why I didn't wait for confirmation. That would have been a good entry if you weren't watching level 2. But because I had my level 2 in, I got a much better entry, and that's why I watched level 2, to get these slightly better entries than the rest. So retail traders are up here, and wholesale traders are down here, or people watching level 2. And level 2 gives you that little bit of edge as well. And what's that? That's a good. What's the difference in price? 42.96 through to 99. So that's a $3 edge over anyone else who's not watching level 2. So I really advise looking at level 2, because it really does help. So, and that's why my entry was right down here, pretty low. And also that's why I got out here, because I saw a lot of orders building up here, and it was bullish, so it probably was likely going to break through. And I think I said in the trade room, it's going to go much higher today, and potentially this trend line, which I'll show you on the hourly or the daily in a minute, which we're pretty much there. I can see us rejecting from up here soon. And that was my trade for the day. So one trade there, one trade there. So I'm calling it the same trade, because basically it is, I should have probably been looking to add down there and add up here, but I need to work on my ads. Hopefully that makes sense. Volume wise as well, level 2 helps, watching the chart helps, the price action, watching these areas of congested volume as well helps, but also watching the volume helps as well. The open volume is generally quite high anyway, so I kind of ignore the first quarter of an hour or so. But what is of interest is that we had above average volume coming in on this pullback, and then we had this big green above average volume bar as well. So that's kind of what made me I'm disappointed I didn't add on that, because that's a GBI as well, and that's one of the an RBI is one of the trades we watch for, the break of an RBI above the moving averages as well. So that is an easy 2-hour move if you were to take that. But anyway, ads is another part of my trading I'm looking to improve on over the next few months. But I'm focusing on strategy, levels, and my risk management as well, which on some days has not been great. I've let my days, my red days, get more than what I really want to. I go on tilt sometimes. So Friday was a tilt day, and even though I've recovered the losses back from Friday, yesterday and today, point is I shouldn't have had to recover the losses from yesterday. I should have just cut my losses smaller and then just eating into profits. So it's not a good thing to do. Quick look at the hourly. Quick look at the daily. We can see the trend line. So you can see this downward trend line. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bounce around this area, a rejection around this area. Volume wise, even though we had FMOC yesterday, that's still below average volume. And today, look at that, we've got this big volume bar today, and the volume we're nowhere near as much as yesterday's candle. So potentially we're looking at weakness. But it'd be interesting to see where we are in the next 2 hours, see how much, whether we get any more volume coming. But I've got a feeling we're not going to see much. It's not going to be more than yesterday's volume. And if it is a bigger, wider bar on reduced volume, that's showing weakness, and we could look for another rejection back down. There's no sign saying that it wants to push up higher based on the volume here. That's all I can say. And of course, we're coming into this daily level, coming into the 50 moving average. We're coming into this area of supply as well. So, and obviously you've got the pivots there, and we also gap filling as well. You could also say that's an area, not what I watch for, but some people do. So watch out for 43.50 maximum, 43.60 for rejection, and also if we're following this trend line down, then potentially we're just gonna create a channel. Let's do something. Let's take that. I'm gonna clone that. So on trading view, hold control button down and just drag the line, and you can get a good area to clone. Look at that, spot on. And it keeps the clone. You can see the channel much clearly then. And here you can see we've got the channel defined, bottom of the channel, top of the channel, bottom of the channel, potential top of the channel. We don't know yet. We'll have to see what happens over the next day or two. And if we do decline, if we do fall down, we could potentially be looking 4,600 area, 4,000 area. I meant, sorry, as a next bottom test. But that's it. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit the like button. And I'll be back tomorrow at 9 AM Eastern time, which is midday here in the UK, until next week when your clocks go back Eastern time. US clocks go back an hour, and then I'm back in sync again, and my days end at 9 PM instead of 8 PM. So anyway, early end for me today, so I'm going to take my one trade today, and I'm going to go and spend time with the family. Okay, thank you for watching.